I'm Jenny Carlson here with Scott Wright. We're at Hall of Fame Stadium where the Women's College World Series gets underway on Thursday. First session at 11 a.m., second session at 6 p.m., and the Oklahoma Sooners will be in that primetime 6 p.m. spot playing Alabama. And Scott, it seems like Alabama and Oklahoma almost can't avoid each other when it comes to the softball postseason. Patty Gasso, the Oklahoma coach, and Patrick Murphy, the Alabama coach, practically buddy-buddy during today's press conference. They see each other so much. But talk a little bit about this rivalry. It really does seem like a good, healthy rivalry.
It really does. Like you said, Patrick Murphy, Patty Gasso were up there joking with each other and making references to old games that they've had against each other. These are two programs. They both in 2000 made their first appearance here at the World Series. They both got double-digit appearances since then. It's like their programs have been on the same path on their way getting here, and so it's been really interesting to watch, both with sophomore pitchers this year that really grew up last year. They had a thrilling super regional at Alabama last year that people talked a lot about. Met for the title in 2012. First round in 2014 and again this year. So it's been really interesting just how often these two programs are colliding at a time when they're two really visible programs, not just in softball but all sports. Obviously, some big football games over the last few years. A lot of things like that have gone on. So a fun rivalry between the two teams. A lot of respect for both of them. They're both very passionate teams and both playing really well right now, so it's going to be a heck of a ball game on Thursday.
Yeah, for sure. And, you mentioned that super regional, Scott, and I'm not sure Patty Gasso really wanted to talk about it last year because that was a team that had a ton of seniors, Lauren Chamberlain, Nicole Penley at the top of that list, super players, and they didn't survive that super regional in Tuscaloosa, but had a fantastic performance, just a great battle between both those teams. But she did say that was a really important moment for her pitcher, Paige Parker, who's now a sophomore, has really become a force in not only her team but in softball. Sounds like that was almost a necessary moment for Paige Parker.
Exactly. Paige Parker talked about that last week at Super Regionals, how important the year before had been for her in her development. She came in as a really highly touted freshman last year and had some growing pains as she tried to ease her way into the lineup. As the year went on, she got better and better, as you would expect from a freshman. But that was the point when she really took it to a different level, and she's been able to really kind of maintain that level this season and become a different pitcher, a pitcher that right now leads the country in wins, that is among the best in a lot of the top pitching categories, and is really a candidate for the pitcher of the year, the best pitcher in the country this year. So that development last year is a big part of why she's been able to do what she's been able to do this year.
Yeah, she had to go through that cauldron in Tuscaloosa to be here. Now she's going to look up in the stands and see Crimson again, but they're going to be cheering for her, which is going to be different than last year in Tuscaloosa. Let's hear what coaches had to say during the press conferences today at Hall of Fame Stadium.
I'm really thrilled about competing against everyone that is here because we have good history of competition, especially my friend right here. So I guess I would reflect back as to thinking that not a lot of people expected us to be here after losing such a big class of veteran seniors. But what made it kind of all clear in my eyes is when we finished at the Super Regional against Lafayette. The Raging Cajuns gave us everything and more and made us better team because of their fight. It was a special Super Regional. It was tough, but it was looking up in the crowd and seeing the fans' reaction on both sides makes me, probably Hutch, Patrick, and others just go, we are arriving and we're flourishing and we're getting out of control with the fan support and interest in the sport.
Coach, first question is for Patty. You said that it's tough when you don't make the World Series and being here in the state. Do you come to the World Series, and what's it like watching when someone else is out there?
I could. Honestly, it's tough for any coach who's competitive to watch on television, not because you're knowing what a coach is feeling like when they're but you want to be there. So it's hard to sometimes watch that. You wish well for the coaches that you appreciate and respect. But this city just loves, and the people in it love this tournament, and they have shown it by their attendance, and it's just in your face all the time. And quite honestly, I feel that I let the city down when we're not in it. I feel like we want to make them proud. We want to give them something to root for. And when we aren't here, I feel like I let many down. So it's a hard. Are they upset at me? I don't know. I hope not. But at the same time, I have so much respect for our fans that I want to treat them just like our players want to treat them to this moment. So I think that's why it's kind of hard sometimes.
The other question is for Coach Murphy. I just was curious. Obviously, you went through Oklahoma 2012. That environment here, what was it like going through that, knowing the fan base wanting to see Oklahoma win a national championship, but to be able to get through that and win one yourself?
Well, I said last weekend after the Super Regionals, the atmosphere that we had at Alabama is going to be the same in Oklahoma City, but they're going to be rooting for the other team. And it's happened several times to us where there's 10,000 Boomer Sooners rooting for them and maybe 500 rooting for us. So like she said last year when they came to Tuscaloosa, we're going to turn it around, and everybody's going to be wearing red anyway, so we'll just pretend that they're yelling for Alabama, and we get the same stuff. I've got that same top, so sometimes when they're fans, I have to really look, because MA at the end, I almost say roll tide, and but no, I think it's a very respectful rivalry too. I think everybody up here, we respect the heck out of everybody.
Kind of for all four coaches, how important is this event to the game of softball now that it's no longer in the U.S. Olympics being considered for Tokyo 2020? But the fact that there's such a great atmosphere, and now we're expecting over 80,000 fans to walk through these gates within the weekend. How important is this event in general to the game of softball?
Start with Coach Murphy and work our way down.
It's huge. I think it's the biggest event in softball, and it's nationally televised live every single game, every single inning. You got post-game, you got pre-game press conferences, you've got this. It's the biggest thing in softball now, and it's very, very important. And I hope to God that we get back in the Olympics, because I think that would be huge for the sport as well. But right now, this is the biggest stage in the game of softball.
From what I know, everybody tunes in. It's one of the highest rated championships in NCAA, so we're proud about that. I think also the Pro League can catapult off of this as well, because that's the next step for these athletes as they leave college, is getting the opportunity to play professionally, which is another dream that some of them have, and I think that we can help that cause through this tournament as well.
I have to echo the Pro League. I just think these girls deserve that opportunity. It's such a great opportunity for them that they have earned, because they're so amazingly talented. So, I think just the demand for our sport all over the country with the growth of the Pro League, with the growth of this event, is unbelievable. And I think about our players who say, they all said this is their dream since when they started playing, since the first time they saw it on TV. So if every little girl in the country's dream is to be here, then we have a lot of people that are big-time fans of this event. And I can't say enough, too, about the Super Regional that we just played in a very small town in the state of Virginia. The amount of fans that were there, they're closing down roads to let people stand in the street to watch us play. I did the same thing as you guys. They were all wearing purple, so I pretended it was that they were cheering for us, because there were a lot of people there. And just the fact that in that small of a community, they can bring out that many people to support the sport of softball was really just an amazing, amazing sight to see.
Well, I can just only add to we continue to evolve. And I, come from a school where our football program has a stadium that holds, 110,000, regardless of what they say they're supposed to hold. And I'm pretty sure when they started out 138 years ago, they didn't have 110,000 coming to the games. And when I started out in 1985, and we had all the parents came to the game and a couple of the grandparents, and first time I ever made it to the big dance here was in 1995, and we certainly thought this was the stadium was almost filled, and then we started getting on ESPN, and then they added Super Regionals, which I think has really added to the drama and the couple week long of the whole event. But they asked me about this the other day. I said, this is the evolution, but the media attention is what has really grown. Every year, the media has recognized what a great game we have. We've all known for years what a great game this is. But it's helped grow the game with all the attention brought to it. It's raised our visibility on campuses. It's raised our visibility all over the place. And at Michigan, after football and basketball, softball has been on ESPN more than any other sport. I mean, I can tell you where we continue to go, but I'd like to see, and I wish I would be alive in another 100 years to see how many 100,000 people we're drawing to watch softball games. It's an evolution.